Good day and welcome to Chess Corner. In today's game, we still have a game from Norway Chess, and this is actually from round 8, an Armageddon setup between Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen against Grandmaster Pragg. Well, let's get right into it and let's see what happened. So here, Magnus playing white opens up with d4. We have knight to f6 by Pragg, bishop f4, d5, e3, bishop f5, and now c4. So this is a queen's pawn opening accelerated London system that we have. So after c4, we have e6 by Pragg, knight c3 was played, and now bishop to d6. And now in this position, basically the best option for you is to go bishop d6. So here, that's what happens. So bishop d6 by Magnus, queen takes d6, and now queen b3. Hitting the pawn on b7, putting pressure on this pawn on d5. So we have b6 only, and now knight to f3. We have castle, and now bishop e2. Capture on c4, queen takes c4, and now we have a6. So we have castle, and now knight to d7. Now there's actually an idea of playing c5 or even e5. So we have rook d1 first by Magnus, so not allowing the e5 move or c5 move because you're actually giving this file for white or the d file. So we have b5 and now queen b3. We have c5 now, so right now it's actually an option because after capture, queen takes c5 is an option for black. So we have capture and now queen takes c5, only move, but now we have knight to d4, attacking the bishop on f5. So we have bishop g6, and now bishop to f3 in this position. And now in this position, we have rook to a7. Not the best option here. The recommendation is to go bishop to h5. So if you're going to capture, then I will recapture back on d1 with a tempo on the queen. But anyway, rook a7 was played, but now we have rook to c1. And now, as you can see, white rooks are actually on open file. So here we have queen to g5, and now knight to c6, so attacking the rook. But in this position, Pragg found the best move, which is knight to e5. I mean, you can capture the rook, but there will be knight takes f3, and this will be a problem for white because right now, if you're going to take a look, there are several pieces which is very close to the king. So we have capture and now capture. So we have a4 only, capture on a4, but now queen b6 by Magnus. So threatening to capture the rook. So we have queen b8, now capture on a4, h6, and now bishop to e2. So putting pressure on this pawn on a6. But now we have knight d5 only, and now in this position we have only like queen to d4. Depending the pawn on b2, and of course, like preparation of moving the knight somewhere, probably on c5. But we have a5 only, and now knight to c5, queen b6. We have bishop to f3, attacking the knight in this position. So after bishop f3, we have rook to b8. After rook b8, we have capture, recapture, and now in this position, basically you can capture queen takes d5. But what's going to happen? Black will have an option to capture on b2. So Magnus played b3 first. So now this pawn on d5 still hanging. So we have rook to c7 only. And now we have this excellent move by Magnus, which is knight to e6. So what is the threat of knight to e6? First off, there will be a checkmate in 1 on g7. And now if you're going to capture, let's say queen takes e6, then rook takes c7 should be winning. And in this position, if you're going to capture with a pawn, then we'll have queen takes b6, rook takes b6, and now rook to c7 should be winning for white. So the only option is to capture the queen. recapture back. And now this knight is actually well placed in this position. Um, it's actually centralized, and you won't be able to move that knight unless you basically exchange your rook for the knight. So we have rook to c8 only, but now we have rook to a1. So putting pressure on this pawn on a5. And now if you're gonna defend it, you will be in a very passive position like rook c5 or even rook to a8. But now we have bishop to c2. Not the best option here. The suggestion is to go rook a8 only, but still it's quite passive. But anyway, bishop c2, and now rook to c1. As per computer evaluation, not the best one. The suggestion is to go rook f1, but still, it is not really that bad for white. I mean, you're still trying to control the c file in this position. So we have bishop d3, but now we have capture. Right now, capturing the pawn is not an option because of rook c1, and there will be a checkmate. So Magnus played f3 first. So now there's actually a escape way for the white king. So we have rook to c5 and now king to f2. Now this is actually a classic battle between a rook and a bishop and a rook and a knight. Well, in general, most of the time, the one with the bishop should be in a better position or in advantage. But of course, you really need to consider the position. And in this position, as you can see, the knight is actually well placed. There are two isolated pawns for black, and right now the king or the white king is actually centralized as well. So it looks like white is actually winning. So this is actually the part where in Magnus shows how good is he when it comes to endgame. So we have h5 by Pragg. So we have king e2 or king e1 rather, and now g6, but now king to d2 attacking the bishop. So we have bishop f5, and now there will be an option to basically capture this bishop, but of course since the knight is very strong in this position, you don't want to exchange it yet. So we have rook c1, capture. So now it's a knight against a bishop. If you're gonna take a look, well, you're not gonna allow this capture a knight takes because definitely it should be winning for white. So we have bishop to d7 first. Now king b2, king f8, king c3, king e7, and now knight e2 with the idea of playing king to d4, c5, or e5 is actually a good square for white. But of course, Pragg doesn't want to allow it because, of course, he should be winning for white right away. So we have king d6, and now we have king to d4. After a4, we have capture. Bishop takes a4. And now if you're going to take a look at the position, as per computer evaluation, this is actually equal. But of course, it is actually very hard to defend if you're actually on a defensive side, because right now, if you're going to evaluate the position, the pawns are actually just on one side of the board, and typically it's good for white in this kind of setup. This pawn on d5 is a constant weakness because right now it's an isolated. So here Magnus played knight to f4 first, so attacking this pawn on d5. So right now white has the initiative in this position, so you need to defend it. Now we have this move h4, fixing the pawn structure, so there will be no g5 here. And now bishop to a2. We have g4, capture. And now there will be an option for white to basically create like a pass pawn or a passer on this side of the board. So we have king to e7 first, but now this allows this capture. We have king to e6, e4 was played, and now bishop to b3. We have check, king to f6, but now we have a check again. Well, as per computer evaluation, knight d5, but it's going to be like repeating move, and I don't think g5 is a bad move here because, as you can see, this allows the king to basically move backwards. So we have king to g7, and now we have king to um, e5. We have bishop to c2. Knight d5 was played, and now bishop to d3. Not the best countermeasure. As per computer evaluation, we can just simply go king f8. So, but anyway, bishop d3 was played, and now knight f6, an excellent move. So, depending the pawn on e4, and this will allow the king to basically, improve the position. So we have king f8, and now king d6. We have bishop b1, and now king to d7. We have bishop to c2, but now king to d8. We have bishop b1 again, and now check. So king to g7, but now we have this f6. So we have bishop to f5, and now king to e7. We have bishop to b1 again, and now knight to c5. We have bishop c2 again, and now knight to b7. So right now, Magnus is just trying to find the best square for the knight. So we have bishop to b1, knight to d6, which is threatening to capture this pawn on f7. And basically, you can easily defend it by a bishop a2. And now in this position, Magnus actually found the only winning combination, which is knight takes f7, sacrificing the knight. So obviously you need to capture. Now in this position, if you're going to take a look at the position, this bishop is actually going in this direction only and in this direction. So here, Magnus played e6 on excellent move. So trapping the bishop. And if you're going to capture, then obviously it's winning for white. So Pragg still tried to basically defend the position by a bishop to g8. But now we have king to d7, and this is the part where Pragnananda resigned. But let's see what's happened, because in this position, playing king to f8 is losing by king to e7. And now in this position, if capture, if you're gonna try to resist, let's say for example, you're gonna go king g8, then I will go king f6. If you're gonna go king h7, I will try to control the opposition. So obviously you need to go king to h8 only. But in this position, I will not capture this. I will just simply play h5. So obviously you need to capture. And now I will play g6. You're gonna play h4. But after check, king to h7. I'll promote this into a queen. So king to h6, and this will be checkmate. Well, that's our game for today. I hope you like it. Please consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching Chess Corner. Bye bye now.